Hey, what's going on, Joey?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey guys, can you all hear me okay?
Hey, Aaron. Yep, here you're good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, holy crap. Literally got some people filtering in and out. Probably popping in and out of those. Look, we got Coinbase having a space right now. Everybody trying to take our time. Um, but, either way, yeah, we got Coinbase, got Brian on it. So probably make this one real short because I imagine a number of us want to go hear what he's got to say. Um, for those that don't know, Coinbase got served with a Wells notice yesterday. What a Wells notice is an intent by the SEC to file actions against you for doing something illegal with securities, like offering them. Um, so, yeah. Uh, don't know what that means. Coinbase wrote a pretty, rather scathing little blog post about it, actually. Because Coinbase is a public company, so they've got to do what public companies do, which is to say they've got to comply with all these laws. And in order to go public, they have to file with the SEC, this, that, and the other about what they are, what they do, and how they do it, right? And make sure that's compliant. Well, their business model hasn't changed in the 2 years since they did that. So there's some questions there. And as you know, Coinbase um, and Brian Armstrong have been asking for regulations. They've been asking for rules. They've been trying to figure out, you know, they want to do this compliantly. And so that's
The SEC can't just create regulation through precedent. They need to just
no.
put something in black and white.
They shouldn't.
Right. They shouldn't. They need to just put something in black and white. And if they need government to do that, so be it. But precedent's not the right way to do it. And just going after whoever they want to on a whim just to try to create some sort of precedent for it. It's not the
No,
right way about it. It's
it's
not fair at all.
beyond wrong. You're right on the money. Um, and this is one of those more interesting instances where the corporation was literally asking them for rules about this. They were asking them about this and trying to get more clarity. And well, the SEC just kept giving them nothing. And that's pretty wild, right? Like, it's not very often that you have a company or a corporation that's quite literally saying, hey, we want this, we want to help this, please give us rules. So I have a strong feeling that the SEC is going to end up not looking great here. Um, because they approved them to go public. And I think, if I remember reading the blog right, over 20 times was staking mentioned in there. Now, I haven't been able to find the original Wells notice. If somebody can, or somebody does, or somebody knows where the Wells notice is, I'd love to read the full one. Because what's super interesting is the wallet. They mentioned the wallet, apparently, in there. And I don't know how that correlates. Um, at all.
Hey, Aaron, can you step back just a little bit and kind of run through real quick what the SEC's issue with staking is, or the regulation that was recently passed?
So what they're saying about staking, right, is because staking is yield and it gives you yield. They're saying that that's a security, and that, it's kind of like you have a fund manager in these pools that's managing this money, where it is, or these assets, where they are and what they are and how it functions. So they're saying that that's a security, offering that. Now, Coinbase's response to that is, look, we're just a custodian here. We are just letting you access this on chain without being on chain. That's their whole take on it. So I don't know, right? Essentially, centralized entities offering staking could be maybe viewed like a security, but that would mean that the underlying asset going into it's a security, and that's a whole nother ball of wax. I don't think it is. Right? The purpose of staking is, in regards to Ethereum, is to secure the network, validate transactions, and your assets being in there running those validators based on how the code works is what secures the network. It's what validates the network by incentivizing you to have a valid consensus mechanism through your validator from a
Also,
financial fiscal standpoint.
Aaron,
So,
I got a question in regards to that. What do you feel, I mean, as far as with the SEC trying to do this regulation with crypto being, I mean, obviously it's not just U.S. based only. What do you think? I mean, do you think this could backfire on them trying to regulate something that maybe they don't even have authority to even regulate?
Well, so basically what the SEC is saying is that a U.S. corporation offered a security, right, which they have full jurisdiction over, right? So I don't think that they're out of line in saying, hey, we have jurisdiction over this and we think you screwed up. I think where they're out of line is that people have been asking for clarity. They've been asking for rules. And the SEC's just been silent on it. Haven't provided a damned thing. And now, to Brandon's point, they're looking to do this through enforcement and set some sort of precedent there. But
how can they enforce something when there's no rules to enforce?
so what they're saying is that there is rules.
But they never clarified for the crypto like a Coinbase or Kraken or whoever else. I mean, if they're asking for the clarity and the rules on what to abide by and how to go by, well, I mean, I understand why they're trying to do it this way to set the precedent, but I mean, it's almost like that's why we created this whole Web3 movement in crypto, to get away from the corrupt system that's been corrupt, and now they're showing their corruption by going this route rather than coming out with clarity on what's securities, what's not, and how we can work through this so that way we can innovate. But right now, they're just trying to kill that innovation by going this route. I mean, what's your take on that?
I mean, it's messed up, right? Like, this wasn't an industry that wasn't asking. This isn't an industry that wasn't trying to be compliant. This is an industry that has been begging, asking for this stuff, trying to get clarity. I don't know of another industry that's ever done that. I don't know of another industry that's ever asked that. Hey, please give us more rules, right? That just doesn't seem, that never happens. And so part of it is I don't think the SEC knew what to do when we're over here going, give us rules, regulate us, provide us with some clarity so that we can stay out of hot water. And they're like, well, we don't know. And instead of providing it, they're just coming in and saying, well, the current rules actually apply. And it's like, whoa. Yeah, but they don't in the same way, because these digital assets don't all function in the same way. Yeah, they change in value, sure, related to the dollar, but that doesn't make something a security. Is fine art a security? Right? If because it changes in value based on what someone's willing to pay for it. If all of us got together and bought a racehorse, so each of us owns a little piece of that racehorse. That's not a security. Now, if we put those pieces that we own on chain, is that a security? And this is a conversation that us and our attorneys have all the time. And the answer is well, maybe, no, yes. I don't know, because there's no clarity. Because these assets don't function like standard stock, right? Like, you can use the uni token, right? Is a governance token, right? So the more of that you have, the more you're allowed to vote on their proposals. And it does really well with that. A lot of people want to have rights to vote on the direction of the protocol. So that's not a security by any means. So, like, with all these different assets and how they function and what they do, but they're all available in the same space, it does provide like a substantial amount of confusion. It really, really does. Because we've never seen assets that function like this. But as long as we've got the SEC doing this, which I think that they're really messed up for doing, and I think that they definitely chose the wrong person if they thought this was going to be easy. I think when they went to Paxos and got BUSD shut down, and then Kraken just shut down their staking and paid a $30 million fine, they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to do this to Coinbase. And Brian Armstrong's like, oh, yeah? Well, I think you can go fuck yourself. So, okay. So I'm reading it right now. 2 years ago, the SEC reviewed their business in detail and approved Coinbase to go public. In the S1, which is the document you file to go public, 57 references. 57 references to staking were in there. And they have asked more and more and more for regulations and rules and clarity, and gotten nothing. So they are going to have a fight on their hands. Brian's going to do it. And I'll have to dive more into the Wells notice stuff, because there is a limited amount of time that the SEC has to act on this after they set it out there. And okay, I just found the full write-up. Good job, SEC, for finally getting that out there. Wow. Coinbase Global, Delaware Corp, so that's received a Wells notice. The staff had advised the company that made a preliminary determination to recommend that the SEC file an enforcement action against the company, alleging violations of the federal securities laws, including the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. Based on discussions with the staff, the company believes these potential enforcement actions would relate to aspects of the Coinbase's spot market, staking service, Coinbase Earn, Coinbase Prime, and here's the really intriguing one, Coinbase Wallet. How? Like, anybody got anything for me on that one? Because that one blows my mind, because that is literally just a access to a block to a network. That's it. That's all it is. Provides you access to a network. That's wild. So I don't know what the argument is, but that's literally all it says. That's it. That's it. That's literally the entire Wells notice. No ifs, no whats, no why, no anything. Just we think these things. That's insane. And now they're going to regulate through enforcement or attempt to. I mean, they're going to go to court. It's going to be a long, long, hard fought road. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. We will see. It's just. It's just wild that this happened. Like, and apparently, XRP's chief legal officer actually had a response to it too. And as we know, they're going through their own thing. So, it's crazy. You have an industry begging for regulations, begging for clarity, asking, going to Washington, D.C. to meet with people, asking for this. And your decision is, instead of that, we're actually just going to tell you we're screwing up and take you to court for it. Really? That's our system now? That's what it is? Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. The wallet is what I'm really curious about. If the only thing that I can think of with the wallet is that it's the fact that you can buy other tokens on it, but those all route through a decentralized exchange. The MetaMask swap router is like one of the top 50 like most gas used contracts on the entire Ethereum blockchain. And it's on chain. So I don't know what their reasoning is there, what their thought is, right? Because I'm lost.
So let me ask you this though: what if is there any way that the actual like crypto community and traders and everybody else that's like kind of tired of all this bullshit couldn't like we all gather around, create a civil not a civil but like a class action lawsuit against the SEC?
Crypto traders coming together to file a lawsuit against the SEC for failure to do its job.
Exactly.
Amazing.
I mean, wouldn't that like? Cause, I get it, they got money, but I mean, how much money do they have that they can go through being dragged through court? If everybody came together and said enough of this bullshit, like, couldn't we all just file a class action and then it's like almost like a crowd fund, like everybody, chips in and just, we keep stacking the slush fund and sue the hell out of them. I mean,
a
because
DAO,
they're
class action
like, preventing us, like they're trying to stifle the progress, man. They're trying to kill innovation in a sense.
I'm not even like that's not even the part that truly frustrates me. What frustrates me is that we've been asking these for this stuff, and they've just remained silent on it, and that is wild. That is what the truly what this should be at its core about, is that this isn't an industry that is trying to skirt around this stuff. Yeah, there are actors and people out there that they just don't even want to deal with it or just don't care and ignoring it. But by and large, the top actors in this space have been asking for this, have been asking for rules and regulations. And the SEC has just remained silent, essentially refusing to do what the SEC's job is, which is to provide at least a memo, some level of clarity, something to figure out what we can and can't do, what is and isn't okay, instead of us just wandering down this rocky path, basically blindfolded, hoping that we don't fall off the edge. I mean, because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what's going on. It's a rocky minefield crossing a chasm full of spikes, and we're supposed to figure out how to navigate this thing and just hope that we can get there. Like, that's absolutely insane. Like, just crazy, to be very honest. Like, and it's not like we haven't asked. It's not like we haven't asked for clarity. We haven't. And we have. Over and over and over and over again. And now you're going to charge a public company that you approved their business model. And that business model hasn't changed much. And all of this was in there. And you're going to give them a notice of potential pending legal action? Get out of here. Get out of here with that. I'm just thankful that at least Brian's out there, regardless of your feelings on him, one way or another, that he's going to fight this. So, a lot of this does feel oddly coordinated too. Like, pretty oddly coordinated. We have a bank, Signature Bank, that did a whole lot of crypto business and gets magically shut down. And then now we get a Wells notice served to the largest exchange in the States. Like, that's pretty wild. Like, a little too close. Valk, I invited you up to speak. I don't know.
Yep, I'm in.
That's pretty wild. And they are, like, filing charges. And what's funny is, like, the crypto market is like, all right, bet. And what? Since they closed that bank down, Ethereum and Bitcoin are both up like, what, 10, 20%? Something like that. So I think they have underestimated this. And that realistically, you can't stop it. You really can't. So it's like, come on. Oh, heck. Look, Coinbase got that Wells notice yesterday. And Ethereum was down to 1717, and current price is 1816, so 1820. I love this industry. I love this market. They're like, oh yeah, cool, we're buying more, we're gonna pick up more. Ooh, speaking of which, I don't know who all in here was in on this, but the Arbitrum airdrop happened this morning, which is really, really, really exciting. A lot of people had been waiting for this for a while, and it's doing okay. Pretty rad. It's currently at $1.45. So they, on the decentralized exchanges, they kind of, so for those that don't understand how the decentralized exchanges work, other people, humans, users, whatever, provide liquidity, and they can like kind of set a price at it. And so it looks like, if I'm looking at this chart kind of right, um, it basically launched, or when the airdrop came out, for lack of a better way to put it, it looks like somebody had some really weird liquidity pools set up, because it kind of started at $4, but it looks like it started actually about $2.35, and dropped all the way down to $1.09, and now we're hanging out at $1.46, and that's been in the last, let's see, that was at 6 this morning, about 6 hours. So pretty interesting thing to watch and keep an eye out for. I hope everyone has had some opportunity to play on some Arbitrum. I'm a big fan. So I got my airdrop and haven't sold it. So for anybody that's wondering, I have not sold the airdrop. I might. We'll see. I got a decent bag, so pretty happy about it. But yeah, the airdrop did classically what they do when these happen. They drop right all the way down to, they dropped basically straight down to about $1.10, and then it just started climbing back up. Peaked out at $1.43, and then settled to $1.25, and has had a nice slow climb up to just shy of $1.50. So pretty awesome. Congratulations to anybody else that has paid attention to me over the last few months. When I said, go play on some Arbitrum, go play with GMX and whatnot. It's basically all you need to do to qualify to get at least something. So pretty nice. Congratulations to everybody. We'll see where it continues to go over the next week. It'll probably take 2 or 3 days for it to really kind of settle down and figure out the direction it's going to go. Oh, but it was wild this morning. I was up early to try to get in. All the public RPCs got taken. They got pinged out, and nobody could get in. And then it started to kind of settle, and those of us that prepped for it and had private RPCs, we were able to kind of get in. But even Arbiscan went down because it was so used. People were trying to write straight to the contract. The Arbitrum Foundation website went down. People trying to claim their tokens. So kind of interesting to see all that happen.
Hey, Aaron, I got a question for you, unrelated.
I got an answer.
Just bringing news and crypto together again. So I know Dexani is not big on TikTok, but crypto is relatively big on TikTok. Do you think the hearing in DC can have any effect, and can a TikTok ban have any effect on the space, or do you think it's too irrelevant with the other social media platforms that are?
I don't know what. I'll have to go look back at the analytics to see what the drivers are from TikTok. I've seen a few things on it. It's ish there, but a lot of the stuff happens here on Twitter's and Reddit. Like those are the two big social places that people go. I've heard TikTok is picking up. I don't get it across my TikTok feed, but maybe that's just because I don't follow crypto folks on TikTok. I don't know.
That's weird. I don't really follow crypto folks either, but if you watch like one crypto video all the way through, the algorithm's going to send you a bunch, whether you liked it or followed it or anything. So TikTok's kind of interesting how their algorithm works.
I'll have to go watch them because I am kind of curious as to what they are. If they're just shilling shit coins or just talking charting stuff.
Like, weird one for me was it was some sort of spin-off of Shiba, probably a scam. But I watched one video, ended up sending me like 6 or 7 other videos about this same token that I've never heard of, and it's again probably a scam. So the algorithm is kind of interesting over there on what it's sending and how it's sending it. Because if it was sending me legitimate crypto stuff, it's one thing, but it was just the same kind of bullshit over and over.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna definitely have to go see if I can't reorg my algo then for it, because like right now I actually get like a lot of stuff on some politics and then like building stuff and uh, some ADHD things and random other ones that just kind of pop up in and out. I managed to redo my Twitter algo by finding some good people to follow that are in like the Twitter finance space and the Twitter DeFi space, because I was just inundated with NFT stuff, and that was like not really what I wanted at all.
So what's super odd is, so you're obviously familiar with TikTok. You've got your For You page and you got your follow page. What's really odd for me is, based on the algorithm, there's times where I don't see videos from people I follow forever. I'll be like, person, did their account get banned? Did they leave TikTok? And they didn't. And just the algorithm's not sending me to their stuff anymore for whatever reason,
Huh.
despite being a follower of it. And you think it would continue to send stuff you follow without having to just go to the who you follow section. So their algorithm's pretty interesting, and it's quite a bit different than what I would have expected.
It is. And they added something new to the top I saw, which is pretty interesting. Like it's got some new information up there, like categories or something. I don't know. I haven't been on TikTok in a few days. I actually honestly mostly use it for whatchamacallit. There's a bunch of history stuff that I follow on there. I find like super interesting. I, I nerd out over old history stuff. I think it's kind of cool. So there's some really, really good guys on there that do some of that stuff. Really fun to follow.
So TikTok is all over the hearing, obviously, because a bunch of users are making a living on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
trying to ban it in our country. But it's
I know.
it's pretty interesting, the perspective of what TikTok is to politicians versus what TikTok is to users, and there's a huge disconnect, and it's really interesting.
I think a portion of what they're afraid of when it comes to TikTok is the data collection, and then the way that it does the algorithm. I don't know enough of the inside information to really, be able to. I don't know what the word is, like to be able to give like a true statement on how that data is being used. But I mean, any data collected in sufficient quantities it can be dangerous.
What I'll say is the CEO of TikTok he's really fascinating. He's born in Singapore. He's educated in England, and then he came to the U.S. to get his MBA. He married a woman who was born in Virginia, and but he's the CEO of a Chinese-owned company. So it's kind of fascinating, and he speaks really eloquently. But you have to believe that China's government, just the way they run their government, has their hands in it in some way, some form, some fashion.
Yeah, I mean, China does do what it does, right? It collects data and information on everything. Um, so I think that that's important, right? For us to take a deep dive and take a look at what they're collecting, how they're collecting it, and are they using that to manipulate people to see, things that are beneficial to them as a country and not beneficial to us
I
as a
wonder.
country?
I wonder if the U.S. does follow through on a ban. I wonder if there's something they can do, kind of like, um, the way FTX was built or Binance US, and have a US TikTok where the servers are all housed in the U.S., a different team operating it, and more of a disconnect. I wonder if that is a solution that our government and TikTok would be okay with.
Maybe. I guess it would depend on how they talk back and forth. Realistically, man, it's really hard, right? Like as a company and product owner, right? Like data is ultra important. It helps you gain engagement. It helps you build better products. It it helps you everywhere. On the other hand, though, again, with sufficient enough data and information and sufficient enough users, it can be used very negatively. Um, and that's, I think what people are worried about is what are they doing with it? Are they using these algorithms to manipulate people? What are they doing? I mean, if they're using the data to create engagement and keep you on the platform, I mean, that's the company's purview, right? That's their goal. That's their job, right? Like they're still a business and they want to keep you on there. So, for me, that would make sense. But I don't know.
I don't know if you guys ever seen the video. There was a gentleman who posted about TikTok and the way the algorithms are set up. Based here in the USA, it basically promotes all the silly, stupid stuff that people do with dancing and pranks and other things. Whereas over in China, a lot of the TikToks, all they show is people learning knowledge and skill sets and other things, more so just educational material rather than stupidity. Have you guys seen those videos yet, comparing the different algorithms in the countries?
I have not. Um,
Okay, I'll look it up and I'll try to find it and I'll share it to you. And this gentleman, I don't know, he's Middle Eastern, but he talks about how TikTok is playing the American public by basically always, the algos are always showing like the silly kids dancing or fighting or doing stupid crap. So that seems to be like the main thing that's set up here for the U.S. is to always bombard people with that kind of content. Whereas over in China, it's all about, education, learning, developing skill sets, and none of that crap. So I'll look it up real quick, and I'll try
I
to
would
look it
have
up.
I would have to know more about the cultures to make like a better informed decision as to what drives engagement and kind of thought, right, between these different sides. Because again, this could very easily, just be that's what drives engagement in China, right? That's what their culture wants, and that's what keeps their culture on there, right? Like the that's what the parents in China allow their kids to look at, and if it was something else, then they wouldn't get engagement as a company. Like that's logical to me, right? Like you're gonna play to your strengths if you're, a company, and play to the demographic. But I don't really know the answers there, right? Like I don't have enough information to understand that. But I think that this idea that everything is nefarious, right? Like we've kind of talked about this before. That confirmation bias is a big problem. I mean, we at Dexani like specialize in scams and security protocol and stuff like that, and looking at those things. And a lot of that is because, right, confirmation bias is kind of a pain. Like if you go looking for a scam, you're going to find one, regardless of if a scam exists there or not. Um, so I don't know what the answers are there. at all. But I don't have enough data or information to make like a conclusive answer there. But I know that confirmation bias is like a really, really hard thing to get past. So, you know.
One of my frustrations with the whole thing is, from what I understand from listening to what I've listened to, there's two main gripes. The one is data collection, which we know that all the other apps in the industry, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams, they all collect data as well. Now, and I also recognize who's owning or where that company is based that's collecting data is valid. But the other concern was safety, and specifically safety of children and teenagers. And they cite these different challenges that have taken the lives of teenagers, which is terrible. But they completely ignore the fact that they're not just on TikTok; they're on every social media platform, and it's a battle to remove them in a timely manner. It's just like scams, for instance. You know, someone posting something in a million Telegram chats. Some do a better job of getting rid of them quickly with their mods than others. It's not an easy task to accomplish.
Nah, yeah, you know that firsthand. Like, it is a constant like thing that you're doing, and it kind of sucks. Like, it's not like a whole lot of fun to have to constantly be worrying about or dealing with. I mean, and you need to, right? Like, I'm not by any means saying that as a company you should just ignore it, but we also just need to recognize that the amount of effort that a lot of these companies are putting in to do this is still a lot. It's just happening at such an extraordinarily fast pace. I know
A
just
bit, a bit that touches home with me is YouTube. A couple years ago, there was somehow, some way, there were ads running that were targeting children. Like, you can be watching Coco Melon on YouTube, and an ad would pop up basically telling you to go grab a knife and stab your parents. And it was super scary, you know, having young kids and allowing my young kids to watch that kind of material on YouTube. But nobody was calling for a ban for it. You know, you identify the problem, you come up with a solution, and you change policies to avoid it happening again, and you move forward. You know, you don't censor an entire platform because of it.
yeah, well, and it's significantly easier to um you know uh like check the ads than it is to do things like checking every video. And I mean honestly, I kind of think it's probably a great job for AI. Like, if we think about it, obviously humans can't review these things in real time. That's just not a realistic expectation. They just can't look at everything that comes through. But with sufficient enough resources, you could have AI review this stuff. And then AI could say it's a go, a no go, or a we need to review this manually, right? Like, you could, what do you want to say? Like, I don't know what the word here is. Um, you could appeal it, right? If it said no, sorry, and then it could be manually reviewed. But that's a great use case for AI.
No, I agree. I think some users of TikTok don't understand the challenges. They get really butthurt when their videos get taken down. But I think you'd rather be safe and take down videos and eventually put them back up than to just run the risk of something nefarious getting out there to the masses.
I couldn't agree more. I think that is, I mean, that's the safer and prudent thing to do. The problem is, and you're always going to have those that aren't acting nefarious. You'll have some that are acting nefarious, but you're going to have those that aren't, that are going to complain, right? Like, they're like, look, this was just whatever, right? And then they'll come out and be like, look, this wasn't that bad. And it's like, okay, well, the problem is you triggered X, Y, and Z, and that violates blah, 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 blah. So, man, it's a hard one, right? Because you're getting into censorship and AI censorship and automating things.
You can tie it to crypto in a way, like the difference between aping a project versus waiting until Dexani scan on it first. And then you can even take it a step further and you can build an AI bot that automatically buys stuff if it meets certain criteria that the Dexani security engine it deems valid or okay.
Yeah, we actually had like a lot of conversations actually kind of around some of our AI and neural network that we're looking to build, and identifying scams, and how you can teach this thing to do what it does better. So we're looking at it already. We've already got our AI assistant in there, and we've been teaching her and feeding her more information, and then everything that you guys ask it, helps it learn, and then it helps us add more information to it. So, it's interesting to watch these things grow, and get smarter and learn more. I'd be really curious to see where all that goes as well. GPT-4 is amazing, and so is Midjourney V5. So, not.
What's interesting is when you pin AI against AI, for example, trying to build tools for universities to identify papers written by AI. It's interesting when you put the two against each other.
And I don't know with GPT-4 if it could do it. GPT-4 is insane. Like, what it writes is amazing. It's intuitive and it makes sense, and it doesn't have nearly what like GPT-3 3.5 had, where you could, kind of go out and figure out where it was pulling its information from. It actually like can understand intent of what you're asking it and stuff, which is both amazing and also scary. All in the same, same sentence. So
Yeah, I haven't used any of them, but I saw an ad for one recently. I think it's probably a competitor of ChatGPT, but it even talked about um, using proper citation when pulling references and putting together documents. And I thought that was pretty interesting as well.
yeah, I mean that gets to be super interesting actually, when you start getting into the fact that it can do that for you. It can learn all that. It can add, those things in there and do it at speed. You know, as we continue working on our models and keep watching and kind of feeding it and trying to get it to learn, it it's intriguing to see, one, what people want and are asking, and what people are what their follow-on questions are, right? Like as she's learning more, like what are they asking after this, and then watching as a similar question happens, and it adds like the answer or it adds like basically what it learned from the last time a question like that was asked into the response for the original question, where it's kind of learning what the intent of the question is in the long run. So I don't know. These are all pretty amazing things that are pretty rad to see.
I wish the Apple iOS Messenger had some of that technology, because if it would like catch on to my mannerisms on how I send text messages, it would make my life so much easier than having to, like, all the pre-canned responses for what word might come next are never how I talk. But if it eventually picks up on it, make messaging and communicating so much easier. I guess lazy, but that's kind of the world we live in.
No, it would. There was a joke about taking all of my messages that I send and plugging them in to the AI and just building an auto response thing for our chats that could just respond like I do. And I thought that was pretty funny when somebody recommended it. I was like, we could try it and see what happens. I'm down.
It's funny. I think about like early on with Excel, building like FAQs to like answer questions that are asked repeatedly, and the amount of manpower you put in the background to work on something like that, and AI can do it like a snap of a finger and a couple cues.
Oh yeah, like you just upload your white paper and your documents and everything else, and say, build me an FAQ for this for people that that are not knowledgeable on crypto. Okay, and it'll do it. And it's like, okay, now build me a FAQ for crypto experts. Okay. And it kind of does know and understands the intent behind it. So, which is pretty cool. Like, actually super, super cool that it can do that. Never really seen anything like this before. I mean, I love GPT-4. I use it pretty regularly now, especially for like writing emails and getting things worded in the right way and making sure that I have all the information I need in there. And
is it free to use? I've never used it before.
You can't use GPT-4, but you can use GPT 3.5 and 3 for free. Now, once it grows more, or once you like if it's really busy, you have to pay for it if you want to get in for ChatGPT Plus. But yeah, it's pretty good, and it's definitely worth playing with 3.5 to say the least. But it's not nearly as easy as everyone thinks it is. Like, you have to play with it a bit, because and then we were actually on a phone call with one of our collab partners that's coming up day before, and we were actually kind of talking about that. Prompt engineer is probably going to become like a job at some point in the future, which is pretty interesting to think about, because it's not nearly as simple as people really think it is. I think, I'll just ask it this thing. It's like, well, you didn't quite give it enough information to continue on down its road or down its process. So, and it needs all that, like all of it. Holy shit, we've been on over an hour already. Wow. But we've got some stuff coming for Dexani. We've actually pushed a whole lot of updates. I got a bunch of stuff back, so we'll have our fiat onboarding and offboarding going live probably in the next 24 to 48 hours, if not by the end of the day, with our first 2 or 3 providers. And we're just waiting on some contract information back from the other 6, which will let us have a full international scope. And so now people won't have to go to centralized exchanges, which is always one of the goals. We'll also be officially rolling out publicly the road to 1 billion in the next, I don't know, probably 1 to 2 weeks with a pretty large campaign. I'm still building a dashboard for the front end so everyone can see where we're at. Last I checked, which was yesterday, we had over $400,000 in volume, and we had it was 3,700, and it's probably more now, unique users that have been coming to the platform. So we're picking up on this, which is pretty rad that we're going to pick up on this. Oh, actually, yeah, we're now at 3,840 users. So volume isn't picking up and I attribute that because we've had a lot of desktop users lately. And a lot of your larger traders are more heavily on desktop. So almost a 200% increase in the number of people using on desktop. And that's probably also the release of, TA mode, where you can look at the whole chart at once. People really, really kept asking me for that. They wanted larger charts, so we gave it to them. And true enough, they are using it, so that's pretty cool. But
So kind of a plug, if you're here listening and you are, you're a big player in a particular community, a coin that's out there, shoot us a message. Any of us up here speakers, the Dexani chat itself, and we can work with their mod team, and we can run their contract through our engine, and kind of, we'll share the results, get the community to retweet it, and we both communities benefit from it.
We have seen some really, really cool and really active communities getting in on this piece.
Yeah, it's Mike. We just had Kishu retweeting and pretty excited about the review they just had. So you can always DM me as well, either on Telegram, Twitter, and I'll do a review.
We'll probably also put out a thing about, if you need a referral code, you can come and ask, and a place to get one, so that we can get the peoples in there, which is pretty nice. It'll be a pretty cool little piece to add in there. We just got some questions about getting one, because we are growing faster than our folks can even get the words out there, which is pretty cool. And it's growing fairly naturally, which is exactly what we want right now. So, anyways, we are past our hour. I'm sure some people want to go listen to Brian and the Coinbase space and what they've got to say about things. So we'll let you all go, and you all have a great Thursday. I'm gonna try and get the fiat onboarding up and get this dashboard completed. So y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much. I love all you all. I appreciate everyone. Take it easy.